Director Mueller,
Aye.
Vice President Duncan,
And as Chris.
President Reynolds.
I'll make it unanimous. Yes. Patrick, so busy using whiteout.
No, I mean, just as a reminder, you approved the ordinance, the 6-page ordinance.
Right.
Here tonight.
Yeah.
You did not approve the cross connection control plan. That's been worked on by staff. That will be submitted to the State Water Resource Control Board. If changes need to be made, if it doesn't impact the ordinance, that will be made at the staff level. You've made kind of the policy and the authority decisions tonight, and the technical stuff will be dealt with in the program plan.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's move on to something much more uplifting and positive and beneficial to the world at large. All right.
The staff.
Artists and residents.
Tonight, we're asking that you, the board, approve a salary schedule that's attached to the staff report, which adds a cost of living adjustment for fiscal year 25-26 that will be effective in July. And what we're presenting tonight is a roster of job titles and a framework that is exactly what you saw in May with the COLA adjustment. And the COLA adjustment is based upon Bureau of Labor Statistics data for February over February. That increase was 2.7%. So what we've done is just apply the math to the salary schedule that you saw a month ago that you approved, and the result is here. This will be effective with the first full pay period that ends in July. So our folks will see an increase in their paycheck on July 18th. So that's what we're proposing that you approve tonight.
Okay. Any comments?
I will go ahead and move this motion.
All right. We have a
Motion would be
second.
to approve salary schedule with cost of living adjustments for fiscal year 2025-2026, effective July 1st, 2025. So move.
Thank you. Well, so moved and seconded. Okay, we have a second. We have a call, please.
Okay, Director Covenant is absent, Director Michelson,
Yes.
Director Mueller,
Aye.
Vice President Feldman,
Yes.
President Reynolds.
Yes. Great. Jack, you're up again.
All right. We're here to ask your approval, the board's approval of fiscal year 25-26 operations and maintenance budget and the fiscal year 25-26, the fiscal year 2034-35 capital improvement program. We have in our staff report, we provided some background that documents the meetings and the results of those meetings that have occurred over the last several months that Mary and I have worked through with you folks. I think the main points out of this section of the staff report are that what we're presenting tonight is an operations and maintenance budget that is at the bottom line within $10,000 of what we presented to you back in April. So we've had a lot of movement up in various accounts, but net we're back about where you saw us in April. And then similarly, with all the hard work that Mary and Darren and John and John Sutter did on the CIP plan, we're presenting the same plan tonight. We have not changed it versus what you saw in May. So at the end of the day, there's a lot of work that might be into determining what we would present to you tonight, but there was no reason that we found and then work with our committees to dramatically change these plans. So if we could, Lisa, perfect, thank you very much. This summary schedule is embedded in the staff report. It represents where we're at with our operations and maintenance budget for our draft, our proposed budget for the coming fiscal year, and we're comparing it against the approved budget from this fiscal year. And so that's the format that we're presenting here. Water revenue is based on 542 million gallons, which is a little bit less than what we presented in the water financial plan for rate purposes, but the dollars are about the same. We have a 12% increase versus this year's budget for water revenue. And that's a combination of our 8% rate increase that that is embedded in its plan as of January, and our volume increase of, as you can see, a little bit north of 4%. Non-operating revenues are shown as growing by $268,000 over this year's budget. It's largely associated with property taxes and interest income. And we're going to start the year, Mary and I have talked about this. We'll start the year with funds associated with the financing effort that we did with the certificates of participation for the Carter Hill project. And that will dwindle quickly as we spend and the project's moving along. But we're recognizing that and assuming a $85,000 or so increase in our budget for interest income. With respect to operating expenses, it's a similar story to the one we discussed last year, where we're growing $808,000 over this year's budget, and there are inflationary elements that are driving that. We have our salary increases. We just talked about the COLA, and then we have step increases in the coming year. And for our folks, it's nice to be able to report that we have people who have been capped out. In other words, at the top of their pay range. With the changes that we made last month with your approval, some of our folks who have been capped out will now be able to move along the salary schedule and actually get a step increase in the coming year. In fact, in some cases, they won't see one until the following fiscal year, but bottom line is there's movement that's available to our people. And we're annualizing the increases that the board approved in May. We have an SFPUC increase of 2.3% that we're baking into our water purchase numbers. We have an increase in PG&E rates that we're assuming of 10%. We are repeating what we did last year with the assumption for PG&E expense at the Crystal Springs pump station. We have a budget of $500,000 once again at that location. We will not have spent that much money this year, but it seems to be a very prudent way to plan in the event that we end up using that facility even more so than we might envision today. We have premiums for healthcare, medical and dental at 10%, and our liability insurance, we've assumed another 10% increase there off of a number that grew considerably this year. So we have a detailed schedule in the staff report, Exhibit A, that it gets to the account level, and we talk about explanations year over year in that schedule, and we have some notes about increases that are associated with our accounts. And in some cases, we've thought through, for instance, maintenance on the wells, where we have a project that we're assuming to be completed to replace those wells, and so maintenance goes to zero. There's that kind of thought process is embedded in all of our accounts that Mary and I review at a detailed level. Happy to talk about any details on the O&M budget, or we can move on to the CIP plan.
Any questions?
Very well.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Luis. This summary schedule is also embedded in our staff report, and it outlines our increases in the 10-year plan that we're proposing for the coming 10 years versus last year's 10-year plan. And so we've documented at a high level what those changes look like. But again, this is the same, this schedule and Exhibit B in our packet are what we've reviewed with you in previous meetings. So we can talk about the changes in the plan by category, or even get down to the project level if you so desire. So I'm going to stop now, and I know we've gone through a lot tonight.
Directors, any comments?
Yeah, we need a motion, Mr. Chair.
Chris, you okay with that?
Yeah, I know,
We've gone over this one.
we've gone over this ad nauseam, this is
Yeah.
the third,
And-
being in the facilities, we've seen it 3 times.
Yeah,
so it's-
yeah, in fairness to everybody listening, that with the capital facilities committees reviewed it, the finance committees reviewed it. It's been presented by staff multiple times. So I think the team is very familiar with what we've got. Thank you for not changing it. So that's good news. So yeah, I think we can go ahead and
Okay.
motion if that's
I
okay.
will move this agenda item to approve the fiscal year 2025 2026 operation and maintenance budget and fiscal year 2025 to fiscal year 2034 2035 capital improvement program. So I guess we can have it. We better still be here.
Ken will be here.
No, I so move.
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you. I make a super quick comment that I'm really proud that the district puts the time and effort to be planning so far in advance. And I think that really reflects on the quality of the fiscal management of this district is working so hard. Because you are projecting a long way into the future and there's a lot of unknowns there. And I know it takes the staff a lot of time and energy, but I'd really like to say thank you for doing that. Okay, we need a call.
Director Proverdale is absent. Director Michelson,
Yes.
Director Muller,
Aye.
Vice President Feldman,
Yes.
President Reynolds.
Aye. All right, Mary, let's hear the good news. I see that you've poured a round pad, so we can't have square dancing. Devastated. Oh, wait, I'm not.
So. So this is our report, our number 8. On the DN tank project. Right now we're 352 remaining days. I think the one item I will highlight on this schedule is the approved change order added, and it's a credit right now. $66,000. Now, I'm not sure it's going to stay that way, but this is
Good start.
But so if you can go on to the next slide. So I'll just say this month we largely, the month was really spent on doing site work and getting ready to pour the foundation. So we are planning to pour the foundation around 1st of July. We've been told that we may see walls going up as early as the 1st of August. So we're so moving forward. It was you move on to the next. Just pictures. So this is what the site pretty much looked like all month, but it's preparing that round section for the foundation. There was some grading. Right now, this week, we're installing pipes, the underground pipes in the tank. So it actually was a lot of work, but we're not going to share the video tonight because there's not a lot to see in the video except yes. But it's again it's been a
lot of fine tuning. What you're seeing there is the leak detection system. It had to get rolled out, and then the picture's not there, but they've actually done the penetrations for the tank that go underneath. Those pipes are getting installed, tested, preparing to concrete encase those. And just a lot of layout and fine tuning to begin the actual lay of the rebar at the pour. They have speaking with DN, they have a plus or minus 200s on their subgrade. So it's very, very accurate.
Quick question, is the bulk of the concrete pour going to be when school is not in session?
That's correct. School's already out.
And so we'll be pouring before school resumes.
Yes, that's correct. I think almost all the concrete will be poured. I mean, I'd have to double check it.
How many trucks is it again? 3?
Oh, I think it was, I don't want to speculate. I remember it. We had figured it out at one time, but
Yeah, it was a huge number.
I think it's around 40 loads.
Yeah.
For the floor.
Yeah, for the floor.
Just the floor, yeah, and I don't know if I figured out the rest of them yet, but I think it's around 40 loads for the floor.
That's a lot. We have to sign the board has to sign their name in each concrete pour.
On the inside.
Yeah.
You can put handprints or
Yeah.
something, footprints.
So this is a lot of the layout and this is the time to spend to make sure that everything is perfect before the rebar and everything occurs.
Man in the house. City.
Well, very good, thank you. And you'll give us some warning when there's something exciting for us to go up and cheer the team on.
Definitely.
Okay.
So GM's report is basically, I just want to report on all the promotions that we had since May 13th. We are very excited that we had 7 promotions since May 13th. And we'll have a few other things happen this summer, but this was first round. So, and let's say Darren was promoted to the Water Distribution Operations Manager. Sean was promoted to the Water Treatment Plant Operations Manager. We promoted Todd Schmidt to Supervisor and Dustin to Supervisor. Max Damrosch is now a Senior Treatment Operator. We have Gina promoted to Administrative Services Manager and Emma Barr to Customer Support Specialist.
Oh.
Anyway, so we thought it was, we're very proud and pleased with this. So.
Oh, good. I have a brief question for Mr. Operation Manager. Congratulations, but I got the report that we get weekly. Looks like our Pillarcetus well field has been down for a while. For supply, that's what I got on a message. Or is that wrong?
We can only use Pillarcetus
Okay.
between November 1st and March 31st.
Okay, but the repairs have been done, so it wasn't for the pulling of well.
No, that project actually hasn't started yet. That well field's intact and ready to go as soon as
We get back, okay.
We get
yeah,
back.
And a reminder, Mary.
And even during construction, we've made provisions to make sure that there are, if we get into the pumping season, that we have X amount of wells running at all times.
Thank you. Yeah, I can tell great grandpa. He was involved when they made him show them off. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll finish this up real quick. I think Mary covered the DN, Denison Water Treatment Plant on the entire month, doing well. Did get the raw water pump, repaired and back installed and gave us a little bit more capacity, which is really nice. We had a really good training session with the SFP's watershed keepers over at Crystal Springs Pump Station. They have a lot of new watershed keepers over there. We were able to get them over there and help them understand our infrastructure within the watershed. So that's really nice. We are the only, as funny as it sounds, we're the only hydrants in that watershed. And they need to know how to access them. Highway 92 construction is doing very well. It's on time, or it's actually, I think it's a little ahead of schedule, on budget. This is last month, but we did start drilling on time like we wanted to. Horizontal drill, one is completed, the second one will be completed soon, so, or tomorrow, excuse me. And the third one will be later on this week, so things are moving along very well. As Mary mentioned earlier, we did get 2 temporary maintenance workers starting. Let's say you saw the cross connection program. Esrian City Works, we're getting very close to finishing that project up. It'll never be finished, but finishing the upgrade. So that's good. With the cross connection control policy update, we will have to update some of our standards. A lot of the standard details will have to be updated with that, so that's also taken up quite a bit of time with us. We also installed a Starlink connection up at Nunez Water Treatment Plant. We're looking at a hardwired option also. We're preparing for that with part of this project, but to give us a redundant system, Starlink has actually came up quite nicely for us. Sean and I got over to Mid-Peninsula last month to do a brown bag meeting on distribution system optimization, good event. Packport puts it on, and it's always good information. So like it. And I think that's about it. Everything else has pretty well been covered.
All right, thank you, appreciate it. All right, yeah, so do we have any agenda items for the future? Or next month, leave it that way.
Second story on the building for all these new employees we're gonna need.
Well, Jeff needs more painting area. Okay. All right, so with that, we'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you all for.
Thank you.
Patience and effort.